Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show that transforms your sources into actionable knowledge, giving you a real shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today we're doing a fascinating dive into something we all do, well, constantly, without thinking. How we actually make sounds when we speak. If you've ever felt like your words sometimes get a bit, muddy, or maybe you're just curious about the incredible choreography happening inside your mouth when you talk, then this deep dive is absolutely for you.
It's truly amazing, isn't it, how something so ingrained, so automatic is actually this intricate feat of biomechanics. We've pulled insights from a really wide range of sources today, everything from, practical wisdom from accent coaches and speech therapists to cutting-edge research in articulatory phonetics, and even the maybe surprising way your dental alignment impacts your clarity.
That's right. Our mission today is basically to demystify the inner workings of your speech organs. Show you why targeted mouth and tongue exercises aren't just for actors, and arm you with concrete steps to boost your own vocal clarity and confidence. Get ready to think differently about every single word you say. So let's just jump right in. We take speech for granted, but how do humans actually make these complex sounds? What's the science behind it all?
Yeah, it feels like magic, doesn't it? But there's a very clear science at play called articulatory phonetics. At its core, it's about converting the breath from your lungs, what we call aerodynamic energy, into the sound waves that hit our ears, the acoustic energy. You can sort of imagine your vocal tract from your lungs right up to your lips as this really sophisticated wind instrument, constantly changing shape to create different notes or, in our case, different sounds.
A wind instrument. I like that analogy. So what are the parts of this instrument?
Right. So this instrument has three main components. First, you have air chambers or cavities. Think of them as resonance boxes. There's the space above your vocal cords, that's your mouth and nose, and the space below, which is your windpipe and lungs. And these two main areas are separated by the vocal cords themselves, the glottis.
Okay, chambers. Got it. What's next?
Second, you have the pistons or initiators. These are the bits that actually move the air around. Your lungs are the big one, obviously pushing out the air we use for almost all human speech. That's the pulmonic airstream. But you also have smaller pistons, like your voice box, the larynx, which can create different kinds of air pressure for sounds like ejectives or implosives, and even your tongue body, which can create suction for sounds like clicks you hear in some languages. Valeric airstreams, they're called.
Wow. Okay, so lungs, larynx, tongue, acting like pumps. And the third part.
And finally, there are the air valves. These are crucial. They're the control points that regulate that airflow. Your vocal cords are a really important valve, opening and closing. Then you have the velopharyngeal port. That's the little gateway between your mouth and nose. And of course, your tongue and your lips. They all work together, in concert to shape the sound precisely.
So it's like a finely tuned plumbing system almost. If those are the components, how do they actually create the huge range of sounds that we make, like consonants versus vowels? What's the fundamental difference there?
Exactly. It is like plumbing. It's all about controlled airflow. For consonants, the key thing is we're creating some kind of obstruction or partial closure in the vocal tract. You're actively modifying that exhaled air. And we describe them by two main things. Where the blockage happens, that's the place of articulation, and how the air is blocked or shaped. That's the manner of articulation.
Okay, place and manner. Can you give some examples?
Sure. For place of articulation, let's take sounds involving your lips. Try saying P or B. Notice how your lips come together completely. That's a bilabial sound. Or try F or V. Feel your lower lip touching your upper teeth. That's labiodental.
Ah, I feel that.
Okay. Then you have sounds made with the front part of your tongue, the corona. The T8 in think, or this, involves your tongue tip just touching or nearly touching your upper teeth. That's a dental sound. Or feel where your tongue touches right behind your upper front teeth for TD as Z, L, or N. That little bumpy ridge there, it's called the alveolar ridge. So these are alveolar sounds.
Okay, so bilabial, labiodental, dental, alveolar. It's all about where the action happens.
Yeah.
What about how the manner?
Right. The manner of articulation describes how that air is messed with. For stops, or sometimes called plosives, you totally block the airflow, build up pressure, and then release it in a burst, like P, T, or K. With fricatives, you don't block it completely. You create a really narrow channel for the air to squeeze through, making that fliction sound like a hiss or a buzz. Think F, S, sure, or tish.
Sure.
And then for nasals like M or N, the air is actually blocked in your mouth, but the soft palate lowers, so the air gets rerouted and comes out through your nose.
Fascinating. So a consonant is really about the vocal tract kind of getting in the way of the air, constricting it somehow. And vowels, they feel much more open, don't they?
You've absolutely got it. Vowels are essentially sounds made with a nice, open vocal tract. The air flows out without any real friction or blockage. Their distinct quality, like the difference between e and ah and oo, changes based mostly on the subtle positioning of your tongue, how high or low it is, and how far forward or back it sits in your mouth, and also by what your lips are doing, like rounding them for that oo sound or keeping them spread for e.
And you mentioned voicing earlier. How's that fit in?
Yes, voicing is fundamental. It applies to both consonants and vowels. Put your hand on your throat again. When you say a voiced sound like V, B, Z, or J, or even the TH in this, you should feel your vocal cords buzzing, vibrating as air passes through them. All vowels in normal speech are voiced too.
I feel it.
But for unvoiced or voiceless sounds like P, T, K, F, S, H, or the TH in think, your vocal cords are held apart, so there's no vibration. It's just air passing through.
Okay, that distinction makes sense. Voiced vibrates, voiceless doesn't.
Exactly. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, really understanding these intricate mechanics, it immediately highlights just how crucial precise control of your mouth muscles is for clear communication. It's not just about knowing the sounds exist, it's about your muscles actually being able to hit those specific targets, reliably.
Which must be extra challenging for language learners, right?
Oh, absolutely. This precision is especially critical for anyone learning English. Think about sounds like the TH in think or the R in read. They demand a very specific kind of muscle control and positioning that might just not exist in the speaker's native language. And that's precisely where targeted oral motor exercises come in. They are specifically designed to build that muscle strength and that muscle memory.
So these exercises aren't just for language learners then, right?
Yeah.
What are the sort of broader benefits of doing this kind of training?
Absolutely, not just for language learners. The benefits really extend far beyond just picking up a new language. These exercises are incredibly powerful for pretty much everyone. Why? Because they sharpen your pronunciation accuracy, helping you nail those tricky sounds you might stumble over. They also improve how smoothly and quickly you can transition between sounds, which makes your speech just flow much more effortlessly. Less tripping over words.
Yeah, smoother flow is definitely something I think everyone wants.
And the ultimate payoff really is a huge boost in your speaking confidence. When you know you can articulate clearly, it just empowers you to express yourself better, in any situation. Plus, for many people, it actively supports accent reduction, if that's their goal, by retraining those muscle movements to better mimic native English speaker pattern.
Okay, confidence and clarity. But you mentioned clinical applications too.
Yes, definitely. Their importance goes even further into the clinical world. Speech pathologists use these exercises all the time to help individuals who have oral motor weakness. This weakness can stem from a whole range of conditions, maybe a stroke, Parkinson's disease, a traumatic brain injury, head and neck cancer, or even developmental impairments in children. They also help address maybe unusual movements like a jaw thrust or a tongue thrust.
And you said it helps with eating too.
It does. Interestingly, strengthening these muscles also aids in fundamental functions like eating and drinking. Better muscle control means better manipulation of food and liquids in the mouth. It's all connected.
That's really incredible, linking clear speech directly to basic functions like chewing and swallowing. What's the actual science behind how these exercises make us better speakers? Is it just stronger muscles?
It's a bit more than just brute strength, though that's part of it. Speech production is this complex symphony, right? Coordinating your breathing, your voice box, and all those articulators, tongue, lips, jaw. When you do these repetitive, focused mouth exercises, you are strengthening muscles, yes. But you're also improving the neural pathways in your brain that control those muscles. That's neuroplasticity in action.
So you're training the brain and the muscles.
Exactly. It leads to more precise, more automatic, more controlled movements. And these exercises also enhance something called proprioception.
Proprioception. What's that again?
Proprioception is basically your body's amazing internal sense of where its parts are and what they're doing without you having to consciously look or think about it. So for speech, it means your brain gets better at knowing exactly where your tongue tip is or how rounded your lips are, which is critical for self-monitoring and making those tiny adjustments for clear pronunciation.
So proprioception is basically your brain knowing where your tongue is without you having to look in a mirror. That's fascinating. Okay, this is where it gets really practical and interesting for you, our listener. Let's talk about the specific moves you can actually incorporate into your routine to truly transform your speech. And remember, consistency is the absolute key here, and it's all about precise technique. We're not aiming for speed, but accuracy. Let's start with exercises for your lips and those labial sounds. Think fee, beep, 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 and even how your lips need to shape for sounds like she, w, 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 r.
Okay, a great one to begin with is the kiss fish. It sounds silly, but it works. You pucker your lips tightly like a kiss, really squeeze them, hold for about 10 seconds, then immediately transition into a big, wide smile, stretching your lips right out, holding that for another 10 seconds. Repeat that whole sequence maybe 5-10 times. This is fantastic for sounds that need strong lip rounding or spreading, like the shesh fish, and especially that initial R sound in words like read, which requires a really tight circular lip position.
Kiss fish. Got it. What else for lips?
Then there's one called the angry dog. You gently place your top teeth onto your bottom lip, just lightly. Then lift that bottom lip up toward your nose, almost like you're making a slight snarl. Hold that for 10 seconds. This specifically targets the muscles you need for F and V sounds. Remember the difference.
Voicing F is air, V vibrates.
Exactly. And for P, B, and M, it's simply closing the lips firmly. M, of course, being nasal, so the air goes out your nose while lips are closed. Many Spanish speakers, for instance, find the B distinction tricky, and this angry dog can help build that specific lower lip control.
That makes sense. What about just general lip strength and flexibility?
For general strength, relaxation, and breath control, try lip trills. Just loosely close your lips and blow air through them so they vibrate. Make that brr sound, like a horse or a baby blowing raspberries. It seems simple, but it really helps relax tension and strengthens the lips for those quick movements needed in sounds like P, B, and M. You can also try lip slides. Gently slide your closed lips side to side, trying to keep them even.
Okay, lips covered. Now let's move inside to tongue control and strength. This seems absolutely vital for so many sounds, the N, D, Ds, Ds, and really all our vowel sounds depend on the tongue.
Oh, absolutely critical. One of the most fundamental exercises is simple tongue strengthening. 2 parts. First, pull your tongue back into your mouth as far as you comfortably can, almost like you're trying to swallow it or curl it back. Hold that stretch for 10 seconds. Then, immediately do the opposite. Push your tongue straight out, pointing it as far as you can, keeping it straight. Hold that for 10 seconds. Repeat this back and forth sequence several times.
What should we look out for when doing that?
Check if your tongue shakes or if it deviates to one side when you stick it out. That's a clear sign of muscle weakness. If you see that, practicing this maybe twice a day is highly recommended. It builds that core tongue tip strength needed for so much English articulation. Another tough but crucial one is scraping the tongue. Imagine scraping something off the roof of your mouth with the middle of your tongue, not the tip. Pull your tongue back along the roof of your mouth, pushing upwards firmly. Don't let the tip curl up. Do this maybe 10 times, relax, then 10 more. This exercise is particularly good, though difficult, for targeting the muscles used in the R sound and the schwa sound, that unstressed sound. It might take weeks to feel progress, honestly, but don't get discouraged.
Okay, scraping. Sounds intense. What about that uniquely English the sound?
Right, the TH sound exercise. This is key. Gently, really gently, extend your tongue just slightly between your upper and lower teeth. Remember, this is the only time in standard English pronunciation your tongue should come between your teeth. Then, blow a steady stream of air right over the center of the tongue tip. Count to 10 while blowing. Pay attention to making it voiced, like in they or mother, feel the vibration, and unvoiced, like in think or 3, just air. Practice both.
I know so many people struggle with that. It really is unique. What's another really important tongue exercise?
Another fundamental one, sometimes called going to the doctor. For this, you need to keep the very tip of your tongue gently touching behind your lower front teeth. It stays anchored there. Now, the movement comes from the back of your tongue. Actively lower the back of your tongue, pressing it down as if a doctor were using a tongue depressor to look deep into your throat at your uvula. As you lower the back, say, ah. This strengthens the back of the tongue, which is absolutely essential for shaping all your vowel sounds correctly, and it also helps with positioning for L and R. It's considered one of the most important exercises for overall speaking clarity.
Wow, going to the doctor. I can feel how that targets a different part of the tongue entirely. Any others for tongue dexterity?
Yes, a few more good ones for control. Lingual sweep. Start with your tongue tip just behind your upper lip and slowly sweep it all the way around the outside of your teeth, inside your lips, in a smooth, controlled circle. Do 5 full sweeps clockwise, then switch directions and do 5 counterclockwise. Remember to keep your jaw and head. Still, it's all about isolating that tongue movement, slow and steady. Tongue protrusion and retraction is similar to the strengthening one, but focus on control. Stick your tongue straight out, making sure it doesn't wiggle or deviate. Hold 5 seconds. Then pull it back as far as it can go, like you're trying to touch the back of your throat or make a K sound. Hold 5 seconds. Tongue lateralization. Move your tongue slowly from side to side, reaching for the corner of your mouth on each side. Hold each side for 5 seconds. Tongue press. Press the flat part of your tongue firmly against the roof of your mouth. Then, while still pressing, open your mouth as wide as you can. Hold for 5 seconds. This builds strength and awareness. And finally, tongue circling around the lips, like the lingual sweep but on the outside. Trace your tongue very slowly around your lips in one direction, focusing on smooth control, then reverse. The key here is deliberate control, not speed at all.
That's a comprehensive tongue workout. What about the jaw? We don't often think about exercising our jaw for speech.
But it's really important for clear articulation. Tension in the jaw can really muddle sounds, so jaw loosening exercises are great. Gently open your mouth wide, hold for a few seconds, then gently move your lower jaw slowly from side to side, maybe 5 times each way. And then gently move it forward and backward again, slowly and gently. This helps release tension and increases flexibility.
Gentle is the key word there, sounds.
Absolutely. You don't want to strain anything. And for strengthening the facial muscles involved in expression and vowels, you can do simple mouth stretching. Smile as widely as you can, really stretch, hold for 5 seconds, then immediately pucker your lips tightly as if you're about to whistle, hold for 5 seconds, repeat that cycle. Also, soft palate lifts. Think about yawning, or just repeatedly say ah or ka. Feel that area at the back of the roof of your mouth lifting up. That's your soft palate. Strengthening this helps control whether air goes through your nose or mouth, which reduces unwanted nasality and improves the clarity of many sounds.
And you mentioned something therapists use, dialose something.
Ah, yes, diadochive kinetic tasks. Fancy name, simple concept. These are basically rhythmic repetition exercises to improve coordination and speed of articulation. You start simply. Repeat single syllables very clearly and crisply, exaggerating the consonant, like p p p p 10 times, then tu 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 10 times, then kuk kuk 10 times. Then you combine them. Repeat kuduk 10 times, focusing on the smooth transition, then putuku 10 times. Again, the goal is accuracy and clarity first. Speed comes later. You can even use simple words like patty cake, repeatedly. It builds that rapid, accurate coordination.
Putuku. Got it. Seems like a good way to tie it all together.
Exactly. Now, all these exercises are fantastic tools, but this raises an important question, doesn't it? While these focused exercises are incredibly powerful, what else in our anatomy or health can actually impact our ability to speak clearly? And how are those challenges usually addressed?
Yeah, because it's not always just about needing exercise, right?
Yeah. Right. Many people who experience speech difficulties actually have underlying challenges with their oral mechanisms. It might be issues with muscle strength, sure, but also coordination, the range of motion they have, muscle tone, or even the speed at which their muscles can move. This is where speech pathologists or speech therapists come in. They're experts at assessing these things and tailoring oral motor exercises specifically to an individual's needs. They'll often start basic and gradually increase complexity and frequently combine these exercises with breathing work and direct articulation therapy to improve overall communication.
So it becomes part of a broader therapy plan.
Precisely. And neurological conditions can also play a significant role, as we touched on. For instance, a condition called dysarthria, which can result from things like a stroke, TBI, or neurological diseases like Parkinson's or MS, often impacts consonants most noticeably. Why consonants? Because they usually require more precise and rapid movements of the articulators, the tongue, lips, jaw.
That makes sense. They involve those closures and constrictions we talked about.
Exactly. So for individuals with dysarthria, a key strategy is often to consciously over-enunciate each sound and deliberately slow down their overall rate of speech. This literally gives the articulators, the tongue and lips especially, more time to reach their specific targets for each sound, improving intelligibility.
Okay, slow down and exaggerate. What about those bite blocks you mentioned earlier in the research context? Do they have a therapeutic use too?
Sometimes, yeah. It's interesting. Bite blocks, those small devices placed between the teeth to stabilize the jaw, are sometimes used in therapy, particularly with children who have speech sound disorders. The idea is that by stabilizing the jaw, it forces the tongue and lips to work more independently, potentially helping to differentiate their movements better.
But you said they can make speech sound less natural.
That's the trade-off, and why they aren't a universal solution. Research does show that speech produced with bite blocks often sounds less natural, particularly for sentences loaded with coronal consonants, those T, Ds, Z sounds made with the front of the tongue, and high vowels like E. Acoustically, they can kind of mess with the sound signal, lowering certain frequencies, making fricatives maybe less sharp. Plus, using them for a long time can actually lead to jaw fatigue, which isn't ideal.
So a specialized tool for specific situations, maybe.
Exactly. But there was that interesting finding. Some individuals who naturally produce a sort of whistle-like sound actually found their uhs sounded more normal when using a bite block. It just shows how complex an individual speech production can be.
Definitely complex. Now, you also mentioned orthodontics earlier. I never really thought about how teeth and jaw alignment could affect speech so directly.
It's a huge factor. Think about it. Your teeth provide contact points for your tongue and lips, and your jaw position dictates where your tongue sits. So your tooth position and jaw structure significantly influence your diction. For example, malocclusion, which just means misaligned teeth. If someone has what dentists call a class 2 malocclusion, often called an overbite or deep bite, where the upper teeth are too far forward relative to the lower teeth, it can physically make it harder to get the tongue in the right spot for clear S and Z sounds.
Because the target is shifted.
Right. Conversely, a class 3 malocclusion, an underbite, where the lower teeth protrude forward, can impact sounds like F and V because it's harder for the lower lip to comfortably reach the upper teeth.
That makes perfect sense now that you explained it. What about gaps?
Even small spaces between teeth, what dentists call a diastema, can cause issues. Air can escape uncontrollably through the gaps when you're trying to make certain sounds, leading to whistling or other unintended noises, especially common with S and cheech sounds.
Like a little air leak messing up the sound.
Exactly. And jaw problems themselves are fundamental. A misaligned jaw directly interferes with the tongue's ability to move and position itself correctly. If your lower jaw is positioned too far back, retrognathic, it can make sounds articulated at the back of the mouth, like G and K, more challenging. If it's too far forward, prognathic, it can interfere with labial sounds like B and P, where the lips need to come together easily.
Wow, it really highlights how interconnected everything in the mouth is for speech. So if someone has these issues, what are the typical solutions? Is it always braces?
Orthodontics offers a range of solutions, fortunately. Traditional braces or the newer self-ligating brackets are common. Transparent aligners like Invisalign are also very popular. For certain issues, especially in children or teens, things like palatal expansion appliances might be used to widen the upper jaw. And in more severe cases of jaw misalignment, surgical interventions might be necessary to reposition the jaw itself. The good news is that these treatments, while primarily for dental health and aesthetics, often result in significant improvements in speech clarity as a side benefit.
That's great news. A win-win.
Definitely. And one final really fascinating application we found in the sources relates to autistic children. There was a study showing that oral motor exercises demonstrated effectiveness in improving vowel pronunciation, specifically in nonverbal autistic children. They saw improved clarity for vowels like A, I, E, and O. Interestingly, the U sound seemed more resistant, suggesting it might require even more intensive or specific types of training. But it really shows the potential power of these targeted exercises, even in very complex developmental situations.
That's incredibly helpful. Okay, so we've covered the mechanics, the exercises, the potential issues. What does this all mean for you, the listener, and how you can actively apply this knowledge to your own communication goals? The really good news is there are some fantastic, accessible tools and strategies you can use right away. First off, simple but powerful. Self-monitoring. Grab a mirror. Seriously. Watch your mouth and tongue as you do the exercises, or even just as you talk normally sometimes. Are your lips rounding for R? Is your tongue peeking out for the who? Seeing it helps connect the feeling with the action. And use your phone. Record yourself speaking regularly. Maybe read a paragraph from a book, tell a short story, whatever. Then listen back critically. Maybe compare recordings from week to week. You'll start to notice patterns, hear the sounds that need work, and track your progress.
That auditory feedback is so crucial, isn't it? We often don't hear ourselves the way others do.
Exactly. And when you practice, maybe by reading aloud, consciously apply some of the strategies we discussed. Try over-articulating slightly. Deliberately slow down your pace just a bit and use natural pauses effectively.
And beyond those low-tech methods, technology has really stepped up in this area. There are some amazing platforms out there now. For example, tools like TalkPal AI use advanced speech recognition to give you guided pronunciation practice and real-time feedback. It can even analyze your speech, identify weak areas, and suggest specific mouth exercises tailored to you, integrating them into speaking activities.
That sounds incredibly useful, personalized exercise suggestions.
Yeah. And another one is Chatterfox. They offer comprehensive accent modification courses that combine video lessons with AI-powered feedback on your pronunciation, plus access to actual expert accent coaches. It's a really structured way to personalize your training and work towards clearer English.
Great resources. Now, what about the inevitable hurdles? People might try these exercises and run into challenges.
Oh, for sure. It's common. One thing is just difficulty coordinating the mouth muscles, especially at first. It can feel really awkward, like learning a new dance step with your tongue.
Yeah, I can imagine the scraping the tongue one feels weird initially.
Totally. The solution there is just to start slowly. Focus on one simple exercise at a time, get the movement right, even if it's clumsy, and then gradually increase the complexity or duration as you get more comfortable. Don't rush it.
Patience is key. What about getting discouraged?
That's another big one. Frustration with slow progress. It's completely normal. Pronunciation improvement takes time and consistent effort. It's not an overnight fix. The key is to remember that. Track your progress, even tiny milestones, and celebrate them. Maybe record yourself saying a difficult word each week and notice the small improvements. Don't compare yourself too much to others either. Everyone's journey is different.
Good advice. And what if the exercises just get boring?
Yeah, lack of motivation from doing repetitive drills can definitely happen. If that sets in, try to incorporate variety. Mix up the exercises you do each day. Don't just do lip drills for 10 minutes straight. And leverage those interactive platforms we mentioned. Turning practice into more of a game or using tools that give you immediate feedback can make it much more engaging than just doing drills in front of a mirror. Find ways to make it fun. So if we kind of zoom out a bit and try to bring this all together, whether your personal goal is to speak a new language more clearly, maybe refine your existing accent, fine-tune your native pronunciation, or address a specific speech difficulty, the fundamental solution really relies on the strength, the coordination, and the precise positioning of those amazing oral motor muscles, your lips, your tongue, your jaw. Articulatory phonetics gives us that scientific blueprint, the why and how it all works. And these targeted exercises we've talked about provide the practical, direct path to actually making improvements.
That's a fantastic summary. And that really is a wrap on this deep dive. Hopefully you now have a completely fresh perspective on the incredible, intricate mechanics behind every single word you speak. Remember, consistent practice, even just a few minutes a day, and maybe leveraging some of the amazing tools available today, can genuinely transform your speaking abilities and give you a real boost in confidence.
Absolutely. So, thinking about all this, considering how our unique oral anatomy, from the subtle placement of our jaw to the flexibility and strength of our tongue, how it doesn't just shape the sounds we make, but also influences the very way we connect with other people. What aspect of your own speech, your own vocal production, are you now most curious to explore or maybe refine? What's your next deep dive going to be?